Okay. When I was a university student, um, there was a guy in my dormitory who he had to, he spent like maybe a semester or a semester and a half at the university, and then he had to leave like with his tail between his legs, right? And so he he had some confidence about his ability to do well in university, but because he was in the Navy and he was accustomed to the officers telling him what to do all the time and standing over him and making him do everything, that when he got to university, he he had too much independence and he wasn't accustomed to motivating himself, and so he had to leave. Like the university, he just made all F's, right? And he had to leave the university with his tail between his legs. And I, this story, this expression, with your tail between your legs, is usually uh, after a period of confidence, you have a kind of embarrassment, right? You feel shame, right? And there have been cases of, you know, beautiful women going to Hollywood, uh, and they were the most gorgeous girl in their hometown, and they went to Hollywood, and they told their parents to go to hell, and they had a falling out with their parents. They left, went to Hollywood, and they had to go back home with their tail between their legs because Hollywood is a very competitive town, right? So, so anyway, all right. So let's talk about this. I was thinking about this certain song, and I was almost going to tell you about it, but it doesn't really work here. Okay, so okay, left with her tail between her legs. Now this is typically used with a man with his tail between his legs, right? But I wanted to get a couple of examples to show you that it does work with women too. Okay. So for example, after bragging about her great musical ability, she lost the competition uh, with her tail between her legs and went off with her tail between her legs. Okay, so this is basically talking about this. This dog is scared and defeated, and it's obvious. They're using this last defense mechanism to make sure that they're protecting themselves with their tail, right? And this very well could have been. So let's imagine this dog comes and chases us, and he's growling, and threatening to basically bite us. And then we pull a gun out and shoot it in the air, and the dog knows he's been defeated, and it's like humiliating, right? Uh, but this idiom is actually very commonly taught um, in these idioms books. Uh, but I see this idiom as being something that is used like in the middle part of the U.S. a lot because we grow we grew up with a lot of farm animals and stuff, and a lot of these things apply to what we saw when we grew up, right? But it's used everywhere. Okay, so this is a good one explanation. Okay, with a feeling of being embarrassed or ashamed, especially because one has been defeated. He lost the fight and went home with his tail between his legs. Okay, this is typically after this kind of confidence, right? That a person having confidence and then they lost. Okay. Um, okay.
And Kent came back with tail between his legs to tell me
turn this audio down a little bit.
Kent came back with tail between his legs to tell me that we didn't get it.
So what they did was, these were academics, and they proposed a program to combine three departments,
Owen and the faculty wrote a proposal in response to the IBM request for proposal. And we had ideas about integrating management and manufacturing and technology. And our proposal was rejected, flat rejected. And Kent came back with tail between his legs to tell me we didn't get it. What are we going to do? And why did we lose? And we looked at some of the schools that won, and it was close to forming manufacturing.
Okay, so what they were doing was maybe they wanted IBM to sponsor their program that they were they were starting at a university, I guess. Okay.
Divorce. He's like showing up to LA, tail between his legs. There are great scenes, maybe not the most amazing.
Sorry, just don't pay attention to that, okay? Because I don't know what that is. Okay. Now, the reason I want to show you this is that tail between her legs, there's only one. There's only one. For some reason, I don't know, guys are expected to be very competitive, because tail between his legs is 5 out of 34. And somehow we like to see, I don't, but society likes to see men get humiliated. So it's most commonly used with men, okay? Because there's only a few examples here, okay? Now this is used in war. If we slip away from this Moroccan affair with our tail between our legs, okay? Now, talking about foreign relations and war and stuff, many people think that the United States went into Vietnam and thinking that, that we'll make some change over there, I guess. And it was thought that we couldn't leave after we got in. Same thing goes with Afghanistan and all this bullshit that happens around the world. You feel like when you get in, you got to stay until you win, because if you leave with your tail between your legs, then it's going to be like you're not confident anymore the rest of your life, and the whole world sees it. So let me show you an example of that. An examination of our total world responsibilities and the significance of Vietnam in relationship to them clearly rules out the option of accepting course A. If we leave Vietnam with our tail between our legs, there's going to be consequences in the rest of the world, which is just what I said, right? That thought that if Vietnam fell to communism, then it would be like the domino effect, which is another video that I made. Okay, I showed you this. Okay, so I think I showed enough. Okay, so there you go, with your tail between your legs, and often used in any case when someone kind of had to accept defeat and they were humiliated, right? So, okay, I will talk to you on the next idiom.